Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. How many of you here feel poor? I don't know about you, but I spent $35 on a boozy brunch, $50 on drinks that Friday night, $300 on a school textbook, and $1,650 on one month's rent or more. But the truth is, we are rich. We're just living in the wrong place. And we need to be content with less, because half the world, or 3 billion people, live on less than $2.50 a day. And 80% of the world lives on $10 or less a day. I always knew the US had a warped standard of living. Just imagine if the rest of the world lived like us, there would be no world. So when I was an exuberant 19-year-old, I decided to go to rural and remote Nicaragua to see firsthand how the developing world truly lives. And I went with a nonprofit called Ethny International. And they take people down there to do a cultural exchange and fundraise for community projects. I was amazed when I got there how far the dollar could go. $1 could feed a child for a week. $10 could raise a pig when fully grown could feed a family for 4 months. $35 could send a kid to school for a year. $50 could buy a family 1 rooster and 10 chickens, which could start a small business. $200 could construct a village latrine, where otherwise they'd be digging holes in the ground. $300 could send a student to college for a year, and in Nicaragua, they send about 12% of the population goes to college, compared to 73% here. And $1,650 would buy a small house for a family of 5 that would last generations. And the family would also help with the fundraising and the construction. Before they're living in basically a hazardous tent. And usually it's more than a family of 5. But what does it truly mean to live on $1 to $2 a day? Can you even imagine that? Well, income is mainly spent on food. You're also not going to have much productive assets, meaning you're not going to have a sewing machine, you're not going to have a telephone, you're not going to have a bicycle to get to and from work. You're also going to have no non-productive assets. You're not going to have TV, entertainment, or radio. There's also going to be varying access to basic necessities. So you might not have electricity, running water, or sanitation. You're also going to be working multiple jobs. It's just going to be day-to-day survival, unpredictability, and risk. And because of that, there's going to be continual poverty. You're going to be unable to invest in future generations or your kids. And don't forget limited medical access and higher mortality rates. Something that's easily vaccinated here, such as measles, could be a big issue in the developing world. And then malnutrition. 800 million people in the developing world suffer from it. People are just living in poor health and are often sick. You may know this, but it's easy to dissociate with. I mean, here we have plenty of problems. Even in your own lives, you have plenty of problems. It's almost justifiable to be ignorant at times. But the truth is, a poor person, and I'm not talking about homeless, a poor person here is average or well off in the developing world compared to a poor person there. So I've always been into international development. I believe in helping humanity before country. The person who's most in dire need should get the aid first. So I recently took action. I want to share the developing world to us, so we can no longer dissociate with it as just a blurb on the TV. I created a cyber pen pal project called IgnorNot, or Not Ignorant, where I pair Nicaraguans and Americans over Facebook Messenger. And that allows you to look into their Facebook profile, get a little bit into the world, maybe even change your news algorithm. I also provide a weekly question. So 1 week could be a theme on family. The next week could be personal or work related. This provides first-hand experience and a cultural exchange. You know, we're getting rid of the bad game of telephone that's been going on too long. Currently, I have 11 pairs running, and they all say they've learned something that they just can't find on Google. they also said they made a friend, which is pretty neat. At the end, there's an option to donate to the nonprofit or go down firsthand and do community service. And when you're doing community service, you can meet your pen pal. If this project is successful, it can lead to expanding to more countries. Why not talk with someone from Ghana, Uganda, Australia? Why not? And we could also expand it to politics. Why not bring Democrats and Republicans together to reduce the polarization that's going on in this country? My main goal for this project is to find commonalities, for people to keep on asking questions, to keep on learning. I want to bring the world together. I want to remove labels, the silos we build between each other, the demonization we give each other, the media bias that is everywhere, the geographic separation that keeps on continuing, and that awful polarization that's been going on. Will you join me in connecting the world? By supporting this project, either by running it yourself, pairing people together that you know, participating in it, or referring people in your network. Let's reduce ignorance. Let's become IgnorNot. Mr. Toastmaster.